Torn from the pages of manga comes this week's episode of Xero.style. I am your host, Zero, the cyberspace hero, here to show you an EDC junk pocket pouch dump special. And it's special because this is just a normal, regular old setup for me, going back to my roots, focusing on a color scheme and a patch and a vibe and an aesthetic. And this week I got a good one for you. Today's theme is cosmic space junk. Spacey teal, blue, green. If you're a weeb like me, you'll immediately recognize from Yuritse Yatsura, everybody's favorite invader princess Lum. Castlegrayscale, that's who. Anyhow, I'm still kinda sick, but I'm doing this video for you anyways this week. I've been rocking this setup almost every day since I bagged this patch, and since I managed to get this OTF from D-Rocket out of my pocket. Get out of here! I know, you're great. I gotta let my other knives have a chance, okay? Okay. Schizophrenia aside, let's jump into this pouch. A true slice of anime and weeb stardom in the form of a woven patch from Castlegrayscale. It was a collab with Shred. Shred Spot, Danny Shred. You can see here are the two slaps that came out in that set. Another beautiful Lum. And a pixel nollie with a cool little bit of like decay at the top there. Yeah, I got these in the deal with the patch. There is another patch, there's another patch, but I couldn't manage to bag that one. This one, very gentle and like a grayscale. See, it's got nice embroidery all around the edge here. Web field that goes all the way around here. Very tight stitching. There's one little spot where my embroidery is coming out already. I'm gonna glue that. Here is the glory of the patch itself. I don't know if you know the difference between different types of embroidery, but this is my absolute favorite. I think they call it like digital something embroidery, but yeah, you can do really tight detail work with that. And just look at her hands, the detail around her eyes, the intricacy of the background. Now, that's all great and everything. What really just puts the whole thing together is the color scheme. I think Mark Bossa blew this one out of the park with the colors of her hair and the background. So yeah, that's the patch. Single big woven patch on the outside of the ZF cup. This is a teal ZF cup. Got a pocket here on the back, and then just one big zipper here that goes all the way around. Opens up completely clamshell. As always, I got my Blockbuster and Exchange card here as a placeholder for my ID and debit. You can either put them here on the inside, or you can put them on this back outer pocket, however you want to roll. I personally like them in here, a little extra security. Back over in the pouch here. I'm gonna grab the flashlight. This is the USB-C improved Gen 4 Auora A4 Pro in titanium with a Playge and Justin Koch Zer-blasted titanium Sacred Terror skull bead. Is that a mouthful or what? Anyways, this is the Auora A4, and this is the brightest EDC flashlight that I have in my collection that I carry on the daily. This thing charges with USB-C. It is sealed, and it's like waterproof IPS up to like 15 feet or something like that. You can put it in some water. It could get wet in the rain, and you don't gotta worry about it. Sacred Terror skull bead for the aesthetics. All titanium through and through, very, very light, but yet durable kind of flashlight. The bead gives you a little bit of extra grip because it's the size of a AAA battery. It's a very small flashlight. There's one button here on the front. Long press it, it goes immediately into turbo mode. That's 600 lumens of beautiful frosted goodness. This is the Cree XPL LED, and can you see that sort of orange peel finish on the reflector part there? That's what makes this the Pro. Literally, it's the same LED, it's the same setup as the other one. The Pro version of their flashlights just means there's that waffle pattern. And it makes it sort of bounce around and give you a little bit larger range. I think it makes a good difference. But this amount of lumens is really bright for close-up kind of work. The kind of thing that I use an EDC flashlight for is like when I drop something under a car seat or something like that. Gotta get in there close up, use your flashlight, and be done with the job. For this guy, there's another design feature that I don't love. When you double tap the flashlight, it goes into the mode where you don't have to hold the button anymore, not momentary, but stationary mode. It goes directly to turbo. You press it again, then it drops down to moonlight mode, and then each press after that steps it back up all the way to turbo again, and then it cycles through. If you long press it, that's when it turns back off again. while that's great and that works awesome, the UI is not my favorite. I would like a double tap to immediately take me into moonlight mode. Then I can choose I want to step it up in brightness to here, do my job, then long press it and turn it off. This is a little quirk that I don't like. What I end up doing is double tapping it, then single tapping it to immediately drop it down. But this flashlight has another feature where if you triple tap it, 1, 2, 3, it goes into this strobe mode. It's awful and horrible. Allegedly it's for like self-defense or like security if you need to like try and signal someone in the woods. But my whole like double tap, then try and double tap or single tap again after that, you oftentimes will accidentally go into that mode, and that's not great when you got a sleeping baby. You're trying to go under the couch to find a binky. I digress. This flashlight is awesome. It's one of my top 2 favorite flashlights that I carry daily. My complaints aside, I have no other things negative to say. I love every aspect of this light besides a little tweak with that UX and how bright the max brightness is. I personally like a Nichia LED. It's a little more true color, but I'm a flashlight snob in the slightest of senses, I guess. Anyhow, I think that this light has just got a really cool look and aesthetic to it. The titanium finish looks great, and it's just an awesome little light, and it fits perfectly in one of these divided slots here in the ZF cup. Now, there's another slot here I'm not utilizing at all, and there's a large back pocket that goes the whole length just like this side, and that's where I keep my knife. And with a blue theme video, can you guess what knife I'm going to be bringing to the table? None other than the gradient splashed anodized Spyderco mcbee. This is originally a plain Jane Spyderco mcbee that I got on the secondary. Shout out to you, Slow Carry, for the hookup, buddy. And I got this thing custom anodized by Titanium Finishing Company here in Pennsylvania. Her husband does OEG EDC, who made this keystone bead that I got matching here. I actually procured the bead first from the original Lotto, and I was like, wow, that thing is so beautiful, I need a whole knife to match that exact aesthetic. I found out that his wife actually did the anodizing when I sent a message to Eddie, and I said, hey, if I send you some titanium scales, can you anodize my knife up to match that? And he said, nah, dude, my wife is the secret sauce behind this business. So I sent my Spyderco off to her, and she made it amazingly, beautifully gorgeous with this sweet anodized setup. The Spyderco mcbee is my favorite knife for a couple different reasons. It's pretty ambidextrous. I'm not saying like I use my knife a lot with my left hand, but I do in fact do it sometimes. And I like to practice doing things left-handed, and this knife works absolutely great left-handed. This thing is a full titanium frame lock knife, which means that the scales are just 2 pieces. There's one here, and then there's just some metal standoffs, and that's pretty much it. This knife has some screws and some other pieces with the knife blade, but it's a very simple design. What that means is it's very simple to take apart, very simple to clean, very simple to sharpen, and, you know, maintain your own tool. The original designer of this knife, Jonathan McNees, really wanted to make a knife that would be an EDC knife. He said to himself, what could I use as the absolute smallest minimum blade to just get everyday tasks done? And he came up with this Warncliffe blade shape. And that's designed for your finger, just perfectly nestles right here on the tip, so you can do utility style cuts, which is what I do 99% of the time. Every once in a while I gotta pop a zip tie real strong and I kinda gotta force it behind like that, but not much else. Like when I'm doing a cardboard cut with this knife, maybe I could come at it from this direction, but generally I put my finger right here on the top and then just cut away. Because it is a titanium frame lock knife, it's got great acoustics, it has a great feel, it has a great weight. I really, really love this knife so much that I have 2 Spyderco mcbees in my collection. This one does not have the jimping mod on the front, so front finger flicking with this knife is quite a challenge. It's doable. I can do this one better than I can just the straight up like thumb finger flick for whatever reason, but just put your thumb in the hole and just flick it open. It's fun to play around with Spydercos and open them 100 different ways. Spyderco mcbee, my all-time favorite EDC knife. Back here in the pouch, just slides right behind everything else, right in there. When the pouch is zipped up, it's very easy to just unzip the front and index and say, is this a sphere or is this some kind of square shape? It's the sphere? Cool, I got my flashlight. Is the square shape? Cool, it's my knife. Sorry, I'm still sick. So it's time for a Hank break. This is from my girl Happy Hanks. She disappeared off the internet. I don't know. Go buy Hanks. It doesn't matter who you buy them from. They're almost all from small-time makers that do this as a side job, and it's awesome to support small businesses. This one features a bunch of silly sayings from the Golden Girls, a show that reminds me of my grandma, and some pretty pink floral print to go on the inside. Let me see what color my snot is. Yeah, I figured you didn't. Anyhow, I was trying to think what kind of Hank would go with a pretty princess setup, and of course the Golden Gals came up in my choice. I take all of my credit cards and ID and money out of these pouches to, show off my gear in these videos, and I completely forgot to talk about where I keep the cash, right? I personally like to keep a $2 bill right here for good luck. You know the story about $2 bills? So a $2 bill is considered lucky if you do a special magic spell on it. And if you don't know how that works, I'm going to enlighten you right now. So you walk into a bank with a $5 bill, and you say, "Hey teller, do you have any $2 bills?" And if they say yes, you say, "I'll take 2, please." You give them the $5 bill, they give you two $2 bills and a 1 back. Then you go look for a homeless, poor, panhandling person on the street, and you give them $1 and that $2 bill. And you say, "I hope this brings you some luck." You then take your existing last $2 bill and put it in your own wallet, and that is your luck for, I don't know, a few months, a year, maybe something like that. It starts to expire, and then it's time to give that $2 bill off to the next person and hopefully give them some extra luck, because they're obviously down on it and need a little bit of yours as a bonus. And, you make your luck right here anyhow, so if you've got it in exuberance, it's good to share. That aside, you can keep other stuff in here too if you want. A coin, if you're a worry coin kind of guy, can work in that kind of pouch section down there too. This is a new little product from Cosmonaut. You can tie paracord onto this really well, and it is a really effective way for you to carry paracord in a pretty small bundle. This tool is called the manifold. The idea is you're going to have to put a bundle through the hole and then double that up, leaving a pretty long tail. Wrap that tail all the way around the bundle, and finally feed that end through the hole in the manifold and tie a single knot, and there you go. It also obviously works as a worry stone, worry coin, fidget ring kind of thing. It's got a cool logo from Cosmonaut Customs on it, and it's just a neat little piece. This is just one of the little things that Kev's been working on behind the scenes to try and, come up with new ideas and new things for you to enjoy. It's getting cold outside, and it's the last chance you really have to carry metal gear that you're going to fidget with before it gets a little too cold. So I've got a super duper grail on me these last couple days. With my dog dying too, I wanted one of my favorite fidget tools to help me deal with the anxiety. So I busted out the Monster Bone. This is a leather omen slip custom made by my buddy Sam at Blackcross. Used to be Blackcross Leather, now it's Blackcross Ltd, because he does way more than leather work. This is called the butt stitch. I love Sam's interpretation of this and the way that it makes it such a slim profile for something that's going to be pretty fat, because you got a thick titanium thing in there. On the other side, I asked him to put a little eyelet where I've tied a lanyard bead with this little glow-in-the-dark skall EDC skeleton bead. This dude vanished, so I can't tell you where to get this bead anymore, but it's a cool bead that I got on here. The idea with these slips is you put your omen in there, and it's a little bit tight. Kind of just push it back in, and it keeps it in there. I don't want to shake Monster Bones and scare myself, but these slips, you're not coming out of that unless you actively pull against it. It's not too tight to get out, but it's just tight enough. The thing with this is it's wet formed. Sam is an omen collector, so he has a bunch of omens for him to test with. But for other fidget tools that he doesn't have, he gets measurements and photos from people, and then we'll 3D print things to wet form into his slips. Or maybe you can send him stuff, but he often 3D prints stuff. He's a very ingenuitive guy, he's very creative, and I dig his work. If you want to get something custom made, check out Sam at Blackcross, and send him a message on Instagram DM, and he will come up with something cool with you, I promise. So let's talk about my omen. This is the full titanium Monster Bone. It's got that same orange peel finish as my flashlight. On one side, we've got the space sponge, and on the other, we've just got an orange star field. This omen is just so amazingly complex. There's so many little caves and cavities that this glow-in-the-dark sponge pattern has on it. And the star field being in orange indicates that this is a special prototype that Kev was working on that was not like a super series of omens that he made. Metal omens are quite sought after. I think that they're nice. They're some of my favorites, but I really, really dig the Ultim ones. I had an Ultim in my Carta 2 face. RIP! Someday again, maybe Kev will make me one. So what is an omen, right? So the idea is it is a functional worry stone. The idea is called object grounding. You kind of have this object and you're like, oh my god, I'm going through this terrible, horrible anxiety moment in my life and I need to just let go for a minute. Where's my thing? There it is. I got my thing. I'm going to focus on my thing. I'm going to just not look at anything else, not going to think about anything else, not do anything else, but lose myself in the thing. My grandfather is a World War II veteran. He told me about the horrors of being in trench warfare, where you didn't even have a seat. You had to squat down. And his worry coin was that one thing that allowed him to connect himself, to ground himself outside of this current reality that he was in and focus on just one thing. That is a technique that I've carried throughout my life. I have luckily not had to be through any kind of terrible trench warfare, but in the tough anxiety times in my life, I find a worry stone to be very useful for me. Kevs are custom made by hand here in America, in Colorado, by one of the coolest, most down-to-earth, but yet space cosmic dudes you'll ever meet. So, Cosmonaut. Check out his Instagram, check out cosmonaut.com, grab yourself an omen, and check out what it's all about. I can't fully explain it to you. You just gotta figure it out yourself. It's one of those things, if you have nervous anxiety with your hands and you like to fidget with something, but you don't want to worry about dropping it, a ring-style fidget is great for that, because as long as you're not turning your hand upside down, the thing is not going to come off. You can type, you can do stuff, you can move it, you can change positions, and it hangs out with you. Especially if you're going to buy yourself a $200 or some Grail fidget toy, make sure you put it in a slip so you don't drop it and hurt. Keep it protected in your pockets from clanging around if you're just going to have it willy-nilly in your cargo pockets like some dumbass on the internet does. So that's this week's Pocket Trash Report from the trenches. Well, that's what your boy Six Sicklies got in his cargo pockets this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a like if you did. Comment down below what your favorite piece of gear was. If you want to watch more of my videos right now, click these boxes appearing on my face right now. Click my face down here if you want to subscribe to Xero Styles. And if no one has told you today, you are a rad person who deserves love and praise just like every other person. Yeah, I'm chewing you out in the end of this outro. I don't know why. I'm sick. I'm crazy in the head. Anyways, have yourself a wonderful day. You are an amazing person. And I'll see you in the next one. Later on. God damn it! How did this get back in my pocket again?